지친 나를 위해 위로가 돼주는 나도 너에게 비가 되어줄게. Be over me, be over me, 비가 falling 니를 내려줘.
As the day dragged on, Vian's heart sank deeper into her chest. Her normally affectionate husband Jimin had ignored her all day long. He barely spoke to her, let alone. She tried to talk to him about their plans for the weekend, but he brushed her off with a and went back to his phone. Vine felt like she was walking on eggshells around him, afraid to upset him further. Just when she thought things couldn't get any worse, she started to feel nauseous. Her period was due in a few days, so she assumed it was just that. But as the day went on, the nausea got worse, and she started to feel tired and dizzy. By the time she crawled into bed next to Jimin, she was convinced something was very wrong. Jimin, I don't feel well, she whispered, hoping he would wake up and notice her. But he didn't move a muscle. Jimin, I think I might be pregnant. She tried again, a little louder this time. Still nothing. Vine felt a tear roll down her cheek as she realized just how truly alone she was. How could he ignore her like this, especially when she needed him the most? She closed her eyes and tried to sleep, hoping that maybe things would look brighter in the morning. As the morning sun began to peek through the curtains, Vian woke up feeling even worse than she had the night before. Her stomach was churning, and she was sweating despite the cool air in the room. She knew she had to tell Jimin about the pregnancy, but the thought of facing him after the way he had ignored her all day was overwhelming. Taking a deep breath, she mustered up the courage to walk into the bathroom and splash some water on her face. As she looked at herself in the mirror, she noticed her eyes were red and puffy from crying. She hadn't even realized she had been crying. Steadying herself, she walked back into their bedroom and sat down on the edge of the bed. Jimin was still asleep, his back turned to her. She took a deep breath and let it out slowly, her hand hovering over his shoulder, ready to give him a gentle shake if he didn't wake up soon. Jimin, she whispered, her voice barely above a whisper. Jimin, I need to talk to you. Jimin stirred in his sleep, mumbling something incoherent. Vian took it as a sign that he was waking up and decided to I'm pregnant, she blurted out, her voice cracking with emotion. She braced herself for his reaction, but instead of the joy or even surprise she had hoped for, there was only silence. Jimin rolled over to face her, his eyes still half closed. "What did you say?" he asked in his voice. Vian's heart sank as she realized he hadn't heard her. She took a deep breath and tried again, this time with more conviction. "I'm pregnant, Jimin. I think you should wake up and listen to me." Jimin sat up suddenly, his eyes wide with disbelief. You're pregnant?" he asked, as if he couldn't quite believe what he was hearing. Vian nodded, her tears beginning to flow again. "Yes, I am, and I need you to be happy about it, Jimin. I need you to be excited with me." But instead of the reaction she had hoped for, Jimin's face fell. I can't do this right now, Vian. I'm not ready for this," he said, his voice heavy with regret. Vian felt as if she had been in the cut. "Not ready? What do you mean? This is our baby, Jimin. We made this together." But Jimin only shook his head, looking more and more distant. "I'll talk to you later, Vian. I need some time to myself." With that, he got out of the bed and left the room, leaving Vian alone and heartbroken. As Jimin walked away, Vian felt like her entire world was crashing down around her. She couldn't believe that he was ignoring their baby, ignoring her. Tears streamed down her face as she tried to comprehend what was happening. She lay back on the bed, the cool sheets doing little to ease the that seemed to radiate from her. Her stomach churned, and she felt like she might be sick. She closed her eyes, trying to will away the nausea and the tears, but neither seemed to go away. Hours passed before she heard the door open again. She didn't have the energy to lift her head, but she managed a small whimper when she felt him approach the bed. He sat down beside her, his hand finding hers on the bedspread. "I'm sorry, Vian," he whispered. "I just need some time to process all this. I want to be excited, but I'm just overwhelmed right now." She turned her head to look at him, her tears falling silently onto the sheets. "It's okay, Jimin. I understand. We'll figure it out together." He squeezed her hand gently, his eyes filled with sorrow and regret. "I promise I'll try, Vian. I love you and I want this baby too." She smiled weakly, feeling his words wash over her like a cool breeze on a hot day. I know you do, Jimin, and I love you too. As the day went on, Jimin and Ryan talked more openly about their feelings regarding the pregnancy. They both expressed their fears and concerns, but also their excitement for the future. They decided to take things one day at a time and focus on their growing family. Despite the initial shock and disappointment, they knew they had each other to lean on and that they would get through this together. As time went on, their love for each other only grew stronger, and they looked forward to welcoming their baby into the world. A journey of love and growth begins with a single heartbeat. Together we'll embrace the unexpected and cherish the beautiful moments as our family grows.